And a very big thank you to all you viewers for clicking on this video. My beautiful name is Kemigisa Marilyn, your hostess for today's show, As Sit with Kemi, where we talk about emotional jazz, inspirational talks, and sometimes motivational talks that can help someone somewhere out there. So on the show, we usually bring guests and they share their different stories. And today, in specific, we have a very special guest. But before that, I'd like to give a very big thank you to the production team behind A Sweet with Kemi and to my mom, who is actually the special guest for today's show. You most welcome, Mommy.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Um, would you like please briefly introduce yourself to the viewers? I'd like to know you.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you are watching us. My name is Betty Sache, and I'm Marilyn's mother, Marilyn Kemigisa, a student at St. Janan, Form 2.
Thank you so much, Mommy, for that introduction. So today we're going to be mainly talking about just the topic profession. What is someone profession doing, if that's the right word? I believe that it is. And today we're going to discuss what my mommy does. Yes, I'm going to call her mommy because she's my mommy. We're going to discuss what my mommy does. So, mommy, what are you professioned in? What do you do?
Um, Thank you once again, Marilyn. As I earlier introduced myself, my name is Betty Sache, and I'm a natural practitioner, that is human resource. I'm a I'm a people development person. I manage people at the workplaces and all the dynamics involved in people management. Human resource is basically about managing people's entry into an organization, and that includes a lot of processes like recruitment, like um, interviews, like shortlisting for interviews, like conducting the interviews. Then I manage their stay in the organization. That is also involving a lot of processes, including signing of contracts, managing their performance, managing their welfare, and then I also manage their exit when it is time for them to leave the company or the organization. And that also has its own processes. And basically, human resources all about that people's entry into the organization, how they stay in the organization, and how they exit the organization. In a nutshell, that is me.
So, you deal with people.
Yes, I deal with people.
So, sometimes people can mean to be very difficult to work with. Haven't you faced any challenges in your years of being a human resource manager?
Of course, there are many challenges. There are quite many challenges. And I would say that the biggest challenge of all is managing the human being. A human being is such a complex creation,
Complicated at times.
complicated creation that you really have to go out of your way to learn how to manage them. So that is the biggest challenge I've faced in my job as a human resource manager. Managing people is not easy. Maybe to expound on that, you need to manage people's emotions. You need to manage people's performance at the workplace. You need to manage how they relate with others. You need to manage so many dynamics surrounding the human dimension, and that is the greatest challenge of all. You may think that you know someone, you may know them for a year or two,
Mm,
and then they change in the third year.
just randomly, just
Yes, they change. So it is not easy to manage people. If they tell you to work with a machine, it is so easy to work with a machine because usually the machines are designed in such
to
a way
do
that
what you tell them to do.
exactly what you tell them to do
They do.
is what they do. But for the human being, you don't tell them what to do.
They're rebellious.
They are
It's always
rebellious.
a why should I
They
do
have
it?
their own brain. They
Mm.
have their own thinking. They have their own emotion. So it is not as easy as you may think. So the greatest challenge of all is managing the human being in this profession of mine. But the good thing about it is that you learn the art of managing people, and that is learned through reading, through experience, through
In-
personal,
interaction.
yes, through interaction, through personal gut feelings. You may have a gut feeling about things, and then you combine all those tools to learn the human being, and then you overcome the challenges.
Wow.
Mm,
So you're an HR right now, right?
yes.
But aside from being an HR, I know you've ever had this thought. Have you ever looked at any other profession and said, yeah, I can manage this? Aside from being a human resource manager.
Yes, yes, of course. I've always wanted to be a lawyer. That was my dream, actually, to be a lawyer. And up to now, I still hope that one day, one time, I'll become a lawyer of some sort. But now that I'm doing human resource management, if I ever become a lawyer, I would want to specialize in labor law. So aside from being a human resource practitioner, I've always wanted to be a lawyer.
So even right now, I think you can study law and slowly start practicing because
Mm.
you never know where God can take you, where He has carried you from, where He can take you. We don't know the plans that He has for either of us,
Mm.
and I doubt you even imagined yourself becoming a human resource manager. By the way,
Mm.
has that thought ever even come to you that just in case you didn't become a lawyer, you'd become a human resource manager?
Somehow, somewhere along the way, as I started my career, it started coming to me. As soon as I realized that being a lawyer was a far-fetched dream from me, I then realized that I also loved people. I also loved working with people. I loved the human interaction. A typical extrovert, 100%
Yeah.
extroverted. So I love people. I love people. And once I started thinking about the love for people, I started thinking about what I can do as a profession that makes me interact with people. And that is how I ended up studying human resource management. And then as I continued to interact with people, even in my career development, I was doing a lot of people development programs, trainings, leadership programs, team buildings. So that way, I started becoming, inclined to becoming a human resource manager. And until when I said, this is it for me. If I cannot be a lawyer, then let me interact with people. And that is how I ended up being a human resource manager. And I love it. I enjoy it because I also call myself a change agent. I would like to come to a place and cause change, a positive change, of course. I don't want to go to a place and I leave it the way I found it.
Just there, just far.
No, 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 no. I
Mm.
would want to go to a place and cause a positive change. Not only that, but I would also love to, when I interact with you, I would love to leave a mark in your life. And obviously that mark has to be transformation for the better. So that way the interaction keeps on happening and I keep on enjoying my job. So I enjoy my job. Not everything is bad about
Mm,
my job. I love
mm,
people and
mm.
people are good. People, when you interact with someone and you cause a transformation into their life, you feel fulfilled, you feel you've done something purposeful in life. So when I come to a place and I find maybe someone is not performing well, and then I start working on that individual, maybe developing performance improvement plans for that individual, maybe coaching them, training them. I see them changing from worse to better. I also feel fulfilled. I feel that I'm purposeful. So I enjoy my job. There is so much good and satisfaction that comes from being a human resource manager.
But I think aside from that, you can also become a teacher.
Yes,
If you are put in a good school, I think you can become a teacher.
yes, I
Because
can.
if you love people, then you definitely love children. It's automatic. And
Yes.
the patience that you have with grown adults is the same
Mm,
patience that you can have and tolerate with young people.
mm,
Sometimes people my age can mean to do things and I get so annoyed and I get so pissed off about it.
mm,
And I want to yell and scream, but mind you, when we are within the same age group, so who are you to
mm,
shout at the other one?
mm,
There's some form of patience that you have to generate even from a young age with
mm,
people within your age group.
mm.
And I think that's one of the things helping you as a human resource manager.
True, true.
That even though someone is doing something, even you see it's stupid,
Mm,
you have to remain patient.
True. Of course, when you are in a workplace and you want people transformed, transformation does not come in a day or two. Sometimes change can even take years. Sometimes it can be immediate, sometimes it can be in the long run. So you really have to be patient with people. And for the adults, it is even worse because they have an independent mind, they have their way of doing things, and they are convinced that that is the way it should be.
Yeah.
So it requires a lot of patience, a lot of self reflection on yourself as well, by the way, to see how you are interacting with that individual. Now when it comes to the students, I think that one would be even easier for me,
Hmm.
because with students they are still in that growing stage,
Yeah.
they are still being nurtured, they are still, looking up to the adults for some to do something correctly and rightly. So for the children, I think I would find it easier to handle than adults.
So you can become a teacher.
Yes, I can become a teacher.
Okay. So how many kids do you have? Children, actually. How many children do you have? I don't know why I
I
said kids.
I have three.
You know the three of us.
Mm,
Because I'm going to ask you, my mom.
yes.
You know the three of us.
Mm.
Which one among the three have you seen the profession of HR or maybe lawyer? When you look at the three of us
Mm.
and then look back at your young self,
Mm.
who reflects you the most?
Who reflects me the most? That is a hard one. I think I have a little bit of myself in each of you. I, I wouldn't say the whole of me is
Mm.
in one of you. No, I have bits of myself in each of you. For example, when I look at my son, Malcolm, he's very, very opinionated. He knows what he wants, and he will
How
go
he wants it.
how he wants it, and he will go out there to chase it.
Mm.
That is me. Then when I look at you, I see the human interaction so much. I see the
They need to know.
the need to know more, to research more about things, about people, and of course the talking,
Yeah.
the talking, and the smile. So that that is in you, and I wouldn't say that it was a mistake where you ended up in this media, vocation. I think you are perfectly uh, fitting where you are now because of that that interaction with people, um, the creativity, the real time creativity within something when you are doing a project and you must create there and then. mm, I see a lot of that in you. mm. And then when I look at my last born Nikita, the playfulness in her
You are
is
very playful.
yes. When I was her age, I was very, very playful. When I was in my primary, early secondary, I used to play a lot, and that is Nikita. So there is a little bit of each of me, each of me in you, my children.
So back to the question that I wanted to ask, but that I brought out very poorly.
Mm,
Still among the three of us,
mm.
which one do you think can become a good human resource manager?
Mm. Nowadays it is very difficult to know who will be what. Nowadays, it is all about identifying talents in your children and supporting those talents. So, and this thing of stepping in the shoes of your parents, I think it is no longer that much pronounced nowadays, because in today's world, it is all about talent and how you can develop that talent and nurture it until when you start earning from it. So I wouldn't say that um I'm very, very certain that any of you could have become a human resource. Although if I were to point out one, that would be you. If I really must point out, that would be you. But again, I wouldn't still say at this stage that you're going to end up in human resource management. You may end up in a very, very different profession altogether. depending on how you progress and how you nurture your talents. Mm,
Speaking about talents,
mm,
very many individuals, students inclusive today, are talented in very many things.
mm,
Some in singing, some in dancing, some in chemistry, physics, biology.
mm,
I have a teacher.
mm,
She's called Madame Pauline.
mm,
She teaches biology, and
mm,
with the way she teaches biology, you can see that she is talented in
mm,
biology. She can actually come to class and teach us biology
mm,
without a textbook,
mm,
and that's fascinating because biology is a very hard subject, ma'am.
mm,
It's a very difficult one. First, it's wide and
mm,
difficult, and it takes time to understand.
mm,
But with the way that she teaches it, you can see that this woman is talented in what
mm,
biology.
mm,
So back to what I was saying, students, very many students today are talented in various things.
mm,
And me, I found out my talent. I'm good at talking because
mm,
it's what brought me here in the first
mm,
place.
mm,
It's what brought me where I am.
mm,
But sometimes a student can't exercise their talent if they are not supported. If you
mm,
didn't support me, I wouldn't be here, man.
mm,
Which is a very big thing. I'll think at the end.
mm,
But what would you advise a student? We're going to go to parents, but I'm first talking about the student.
mm.
What would you advise a student who has that special talent of theirs, but they are too afraid to bring it out to their parents?
Mm,
For example,
mm,
if it wasn't for me ever telling you that I'm into media,
mm,
I doubt you would ever suggest it.
mm, mm,
And you supported me, which is
mm,
a good thing, which is
mm,
what parents are recommended to do.
mm.
But what would you advise a student who has decided to keep quiet with their talent and not grow it and just let the talent die? What would you advise them to do?
First of all, that would be so unfortunate that the child is dying with their talent. It is so unfortunate, but the openness starts with how you parent at home, how you parent these children, whether you have open conversations with them so that they don't fear you, so that they don't doubt your support for them. So for a child, you know, for a child who has that fear and that doubt that the parents may not support, will definitely keep quiet. So my advice to that child, if they really really love it and they feel it is something that they are meant to do, I would advise them to go to their teacher, talk about it with their teacher, and ask the teacher to talk to the parent when the parent comes around.
Mm,
That is my advice to them. Or maybe even their colleagues
mm,
at school. There are some of your colleagues who are very outspoken, who are eloquent, who don't fear, who can say anything to the teacher. If you have such a friend, you can approach them and ask them to tell the teacher about it. And then when time comes for the parent to come to, maybe for a visitation, or they can even give a call
or an
to the
MDD.
parent any day and they say, please, we want you at school, there is something we want to talk about. And then the teacher talks on behalf of that child to the parent. The parent will listen. And sometimes the parents will love to support our children because we love them so much. But maybe we don't know how to support. We don't know how to support. We don't know how to talk to our children. We are not used to these open conversations. We don't know how to open up a conversation with our children. And we are also quiet in our little space in our bedrooms. And we don't know. But if you asked us, we would support. So, my advice to that child who fears to talk about it is to go to their teacher, especially the teacher who is teaching that subject of interest, whether it is biology, whether it is agriculture, whether it is learning Chinese. You go to that teacher and show your interest, and you request that teacher to talk on behalf of your to talk to your parent on your behalf.
Mm.
That is my advice. Mm.
So what about for these parents who dictate for their children what to do? A parent who says, "Oh, why you like biology, or why you're good at singing, or why you're talented in football, you are going to become a doctor. You want over you don't want, you're going to become a doctor." How would you advise
Mm.
those parents who have hardened their hearts in terms of listening to their children? Because you're a muzad.
That is also a hard one. But modern parenting is no longer about dictating to the children. Modern parenting is all about listening to the children and understanding them and having open conversations with your children. So, my advice to that parent who is still living in the old paradigm of where they say and you do is that sometimes that can even bring you regrets in the future if you insist on that kind of parenting. The kind of parenting we do today is that we nurture open conversations with our children, and they should be ongoing. You open up you open up the space for talking, for conversations, honest conversations, such that the child can feel confident to talk to you about anything and everything. Now, when it comes to dictating what the child must do, that one is also not so much of a good thing.
It's not good
It
at
is
all.
not good at all because everyone is gifted in their own way. God does not give us a uniform gift. God gifts us in different ways. Even for the twins, even if they were identical twins, you can find one twin being a lawyer and then another twin being a farmer. That is where their passion lies. So, dictating can no longer work. My advice to those parents is that they should open up space in their hearts and start listening to these children. Nowadays, talent has been pronounced so much to the point that you can even start earning from it at an early age. We have seen so many people living off their talents, getting rich because of their talents. So this business of saying you must become a lawyer, you must become a doctor can no longer work. And that is how, when you insist, that is how we end up with lawyers who are unethical. That is how we end up with doctors who don't take care of their patients. That is how we end up with policemen who are very harsh and rude to
To
their
the
clients.
citizens.
So it is always good to listen to your child and try to support them with whatever talent they have. Just make sure that the support is positive and the support is driving the child in a very safe zone and professional zone. Okay, that is what I would advise the parents. Dictating is no longer a thing in this modern world. Hmm? Some of the children actually they can feel so pressured and they end up doing bad things. At the extreme end, some children can even commit suicide if you force them to do things they don't want. Hmm? They can end up running away from the home, and that is not what you want as a parent. Hmm? So, listening to a child and trying to support them. By the way, even if you want to change the child's mind and drive them back to what you want them to do, there is always a better way of doing it. Some of the parents have successfully convinced their children to follow into their footsteps, but not in a very dictatorial
Harsh.
way, not in a harsh way. Hmm? They show the good. If, for example, the parent is an engineer, they show the good in engineering instead of saying you must be an engineer, you must be an engineer, you must be an engineer. So there is always a good way to convince your child to follow into your footsteps. That one can also happen. Mm,
I think it can also relate with loving a child.
mm,
Because if you love someone, you'd listen to them and hear them out and what they have to say about different things and,
mm.
different topics in general.
Definitely. Yeah, love has to love has to flourish into the picture. It
So if
has
you love
to.
someone, you need to
Mm.
be a good listener.
Yes, please.
The same way you'd want someone to listen to you. You were
Yes.
saying something.
Yes.
So she has mentioned a lot about her career, about some of the challenges that she faces at her workplace, and about how she solves them in general. And the more she talks about her profession, the more I see that I have a hardworking mommy. By the way, all those mummies out there who are not working, what would you have to say to them to push them to get something to do? Because some of them are idle.
Mm. I would say that generally, most of the mothers, as you said, mothers or parents, which one?
Parents, I'm gonna say
Parents,
parents.
eh? Most of the parents, it is not by choice that they are not working. They are just living in a very harsh environment. Maybe they are economically disadvantaged. People are dealing with so many issues. There are so many reasons as to why people are not. working, as to why parents are not working. So it is not a clear cut say that they are not working because they don't want to work. There are so many factors that hinder someone from getting a job to work or starting a business and earning something from it. But what I would advise them is that you need to be very determined, mm, to start something, depending whether you have an education or you are illiterate or semi-illiterate, depending on your circumstances, you need to find something. And sometimes finding something means you have to get out of your house and start looking for opportunities. Opportunities may find you in so many different places. But all I can tell is that when you are seated at home and you are not doing anything at all, opportunities are not likely to find you at home. Opportunities are likely to find you when you are already on the move. Mm? You need to think through the people you know. Nowadays, it is all about connections, the connections you have. You have to relate on purpose. Mm? The people you relate with, the courses that you choose to study. There is a lot of factors that can help you to, to find something to do. Sometimes it comes to a point where you have to identify your talent when you have searched for jobs, for employment, and everything else has refused. And then you say, by the way, what is it that I can do as an individual? What are my talents? What are my gifts? What can I do? And then you see how best you can explore those talents. Some people have discovered that they can sing in their late years in life. Some people have discovered that they are actually good at counseling the youth, counseling the children. They are good at it, but they have discovered it late in life. So sometimes when everything else has failed, you look within yourself and try to find out what is it that you can do yourself. What talent do you have? What resources are around you? What connections do you have? And that is how we get connected and get something to do, not only in formal employment, but even in the informal sector. Because formal employment is where you get, speaking from your level of understanding. Formal employment is whereby you have a job, you have an education, a degree, a diploma, certificate, and then you go you into an organization or company, you submit a CV, you apply for an interview, you see the interview, you are shortlisted, you pass, and then you are given a job. That is formal employment. But there is also the informal employment whereby you have your own skill and talent, which is what you're going to use to earn. So you have, sometimes it comes to that where you have to look into yourself and find out what your talents are, what your skills are, and then you know
You get
you
creative.
yes, you get creative actually around your space. And I think Janan is doing that very well. Janan is very, very good at skills development, and that is why I love this school so much. Sometimes I look at your social media platforms as Janan the school. I look at children doing tailoring. I look at children doing bakery. I look at like you in the media. I mean, you are only informed too, but I'm seated here with you. You've already opened up a YouTube channel. Who knows? One day, one time, you'll start earning from your skill. So that is really, really something good about Janan, and I thank Janan for that.
My
Mm,
goodness, thank you so much, mommy.
mm,
So, once again, from what she said, she's talked about her profession, the challenges that she faces in her profession, and has emphasized that parents shouldn't dictate for their children and
mm.
that you should hear your child out. Been a lot from her. She's mainly talked about her profession and what she planned to do and where her talent lies and where it would have taken her, but where she is now and how happy she is, teaching us also to be happy with what we've been given and to be content with what we have. Mommy, would you like to give the viewers any last remarks? Tell them anything at all. Or thank anyone.
Um, my last remarks go to Janan School. I would like to thank the director, Mr. Chironde, for this wonderful vision and wonderful dream. The skills development program is so on point, and we thank him for that. We thank him for investing so much in talent development for our children. And that is one of the niche, I think that is the key niche for this school. Every child finds their own place and their own space in this school, unless otherwise. But every child here finds their own skill, finds their own talent, and it is really, really developed. And I would like to thank all the teachers and the school administrators and everyone at large in Janan schools for giving our children an opportunity. When you are given an opportunity, of course, you shine. And it is a well balanced opportunity. They don't just give a few students here and there, but for as long as a child has shown interest in something, Janan schools will always find a place for them. Then I would also like to give great thanks to the production team of A Sit with Kemi. That is Mr. Peter Asher, Mr. Tamale Jeremiah on camera, and then, of course, the executive producer, Mr. Ronnie Mayanja. Thank you so much, team, for this wonderful production, and we hope for the best.
Mm.
Thank you.
So that's it.
Mm.
Um, thank you so much, Mommy. Thank you. And still, I'd like to give a very big thank you once again to the production team, including Peter Ashawawire and Tamale Jeremiah, and of course, executive producer Mr. Joy Rani Mayanja. I wouldn't be able to do what I do today if it wasn't for you guys' support and also the support of you, Mommy, and of course, Daddy. I can never forget him. Thank you so much for bringing me where I am today, for allowing me to develop this far for as far as my talent is concerned, just like we discussed. Thank you so much. I love you and Daddy. Even the production team, I love you guys. Thank you. So that has been another episode of A Seat with Kenny. You've seen the lessons that we've learned from this short talk that we've had. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, that is on TikTok and then here on YouTube. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this. And see you next time.